So hello बच्चों, the INI-CET May 2026 forms are out. We had already made this announcement, and today we are going to tell you the step-by-step process of filling the form. All right, there are two things which are new this year in INI-CET exam form filling, which is not there last year. First thing is birth certificate. All right, you have to upload a certificate, a PDF of your date of birth proof. It can be a 10th mark sheet, it can be a birth certificate. That is something new. And the second thing which is new this year is there are two prospectus. All right, every year we had only one prospectus. This year there is a prospectus part A, which is the common prospectus for the exam, and part B is different prospectus for the different INIs, right? There are three institutes of national importance for us. For the MDS aspirants, there are two. There are AIMS, all the AIMS, and there is PGI Chandigarh, right? So you can read the two separate prospectus also, wherein the details which are there will be useful to you later. Okay, so what is the stipend? When do you have to fill the thesis? What is the leave protocol? All that is relevant actually when you're selected there, right? And then when we have to make a choice of which college to choose. So part B prospectus is the individual prospectus of the institutes that are participating in INI-CET. For us, it is AIMS and PGI Chandigarh, right? What is more important to you is part A prospectus, which tells you everything, right? We have filled the form at DBMC IMDS, and we're going to tell you how every step needs to be filled and where you can make mistakes, right? Most of the things are easy, basic things. You just have to log in with your mobile number, with your email ID. You'll get an OTP. You log in, and you start filling the form. All right. Most of the things are very, very basic. Okay. Now, very important rule, everybody who is internship is finishing by 31st July, on or before 31st July, is eligible. All right. The new rule that came last year was that if you have completed PG, if you have completed PG in any branch, or if you are doing PG in any branch, you are not eligible, right? You're definitely not eligible, right? In NEET, you are still eligible. You can take the NEET even if you have completed PG or if you're doing PG. But INI-CET, since last year, this rule has come that if you're doing or you've completed your PG in any branch from any place, you are not eligible to take this exam, right? So all the fresh candidates can take the INI-CET exam. All those whose internship is completing by 31st July, right? I mean, this confusion comes up that, ma'am, my extension is there and this is there and that is there. If your internship completion certificate mentions that you completed on 31st July, good enough. All right. Okay. Next important thing is the minimum marks. All right. Now, what you have to do is, again, like NEET, you have to take the first BDS marks, second BDS marks, third BDS marks, and final BDS marks, and do a total of marks you scored, the marks you scored, and you have to also do a total of the maximum marks, right? So that means you got so many marks and this was the maximum that could have got, right? So that you have to see, and you have to calculate a percentage, right? If you're a general category student, your percentage should be at least 55%, right? At least 55% you should have. SC/ST candidate, 50% is also okay. This does not mean that anybody who has a supplementary or who has a back is not eligible. No, everybody who has a supplementary also is eligible. You have to take the supplementary marks. Okay, whatever, when you pass the exam in whatever first, second, third, final year, if whenever you pass the exam, whatever score you got, that you have to calculate. All right. So even the supplementary students are eligible to take the INI-CET. Only their aggregate should be more than 55%. All right. Okay. Next important thing, it's a 3-hour exam. We all know that. Questions are 200. Again, pattern is not changed. It's the same pattern like the last INI-CET. Two types of questions will be there: single correct choice, that means one correct answer, and multiple correct choices, right? You will be given multiple options: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Option A will be 1 and 3 are correct. Option B will be 2, 3, and 5 are correct, right? So multiple correct choices you have to mark. If you mark it correctly, you have a +1. If you mark it wrong, you have a -1/3. All right, now this is one big difference between NEET and INI-CET. NEET, you have a -1/4, lesser negative in NEET. Whereas INI-CET, you have a -1/3. So your calculated risks or your bluffing or your judgment calls should be very, very titrated. All right, you can't just bluff left, right, and center if you want to rank in INI-CET. Another very big difference between NEET and INI is questions that are marked for review will not be scored. They will not be scored. In NEET, if you make anything purple, all right, mark for review is having a purple color. All right, I'll choose a purple color and show you. If you choose a purple color, right, green means you have marked, red means you have left, and purple means you have left for review. So if you have left for review in NEET, they will be scored. They will be marked. Whether it is right, you will get +4. If it is wrong, you will get a -1/4. In INI CET, they will not be scored. Right? So if you want to mark, like I always say, don't leave any purples. Either make it green or leave it red. Right? Don't create confusion by making this purple. You can go back to all the reds if you want to go back to. Don't create this confusion of purple. Right? The pattern again, like I said, it remains the same. There will be 4 parts in the paper. The 4 parts, every part will have 50 questions and every part will have 45 minutes. So part A will start at a set time. 50 questions, whether you finish early, whether you finish late, doesn't matter. At 45 minutes, the section will automatically change to part B. You have no option of going back to section A and doing any other changes. So whatever you have to do, you have to finish in that 45 minutes of time in every part, right? After 45 minutes, automatically it will be submitted and part B will start. Similarly, after 45 minutes, automatically part C, part D. You have no option to come back, right? So like that, you will have 180 minutes, that is 3 hours and 200 questions. Okay, resolution of time. Now here also there is slight difference between NEET and INI-CET. In NEET, the part B, okay, the clinical part. In NEET, the distribution is part A, part B. Part A is basic sciences and part B is clinical sciences. And those who are scoring better in part B, those who are doing less negative in part B, have a better rank whenever there is a tie. Whereas in INI-CET, there is nothing like that. There is no clinical and basic differentiation. Broadly, everybody who has a less negative will be given preference. Okay, if 2 people have the same rank, then the one who has done less negative will get a better rank, right? If more than 2 people have the same score and less, I mean, number of negatives are also equal, then the next criteria will be the percentage in qualifying exam. That means your first to final BDS percentage, right? After that, the preference will be older by age and name in alphabetical order. Now, all those who are tense that my name starts with Z, my name is Zian or my name is Yune, don't worry. These criteria happens very late. All right, the topper is basically decided based on the criteria number 1, which is less negative marks. This is most of the time the decisive criteria, and in worst cases, it will go to percentage by qualifying exam. We know already that the seats are very, very limited. So it rather doesn't go till the 3rd and 4th criteria. Primarily, it is the 1st and 2nd criteria, right? So try and do less wrong in INI-CET. All right, like I said, now there are 2 different perspectives. There is a part A, which I've already discussed, and a part B. Okay, part B is depending on which participating institute, right? So part B, you will have part B of all the AIIMS. So what are the rules and regulations? If you become a resident in AIIMS, what will be the rules and regulations? And similarly, you will have a part B of PGI Chandigarh. There is another prospectus for the other institute, but we don't have BDS seat there, so we don't care about it. Okay. Now, a lot of you are worried about the documentation, right? Most importantly, the registration. The registration with the Dental Council. Many of you don't have a registration and many of you have a provisional registration. All right, those who don't have a registration, please get a provisional registration done. Your provisional registration will be valid now also. You have to just put that number there. Even during counseling, if you don't get your final year mark sheet, if you don't get your degree, your provisional certificate is there, right? Your provisional registration certificate is there, even in counseling. So all these documents will be required during counseling. Nobody is asking you to upload these documents now. All right, you just have to put the details of these documents, right? You just have to put the number of the registration. You just have to put the marks of the first to final year. Nobody is asking you to upload that mark sheet, right? So currently, you don't need any documents, but you have to keep them ready, right? All right. Like I said, have you completed PG in any medical or dental subjects? If you mark a yes, then you are not eligible, right? So everybody who's done your PGs, you are not eligible. Okay. Then are you category of physically person with benchmark disability. Now there are rules, okay? Anybody who has an injury in the leg, it does not become a person with benchmark disability. There are rules and regulations. You have to get the certificates from certain select institutes of the country, right? Please read the prospectus part A. Please read the prospectus part A carefully to make sure whether you are eligible in this category or not. There is a big advantage to students who belong to this category, but there are strict rules of inclusion into this category, right? So please select only if you fall into the category, right? Similarly, your application will not be under sponsored, it will be open seat. Sponsored seat is for those people who are working under the central government institutes. Like a lot of people who are working with the government in different central government institutes like RML or Lady Harding Institute or any other central government institutes, they are also allowed to do PG after a certain year of service, right? So these are the sponsored candidates or the foreign candidates, right? Certain Nepali candidates and all those. So you guys will not belong to any sponsored category. You will just select the open seat. This does not mean general category, right? Open seat means open to all. Whether you're OBC, SC, ST, you will mark open seat. Then when category is asked, then you will reserve your category to OBC, SC, ST, unreserved, whatever it is, right? So application may you will mark open seat, category may you will mark whatever category you are in. Okay. Served service in armed forces, guys, it does not mean whether you want to serve. No. Whether you are already doing a service in armed forces, 99% of you will mark no. All right. Only the people who are currently serving in the Indian Army or military or air force, like Indian armed services, will mark a yes. So all of you, please mark a no here, right? Service in the central or state government for more than 3 years. Now these people are actually the sponsored candidates, right? Then you have to prove those things. So here also you will mark a no. All right, very clearly you will mark a no here. Okay, so here also, like I said, you have to put your date of admission, your date of passing. Please choose the year first, followed by month, followed by date. Don't choose the date first and then month, because then you will lose that. First year, then month, then date, right? First to final year marks that you have got, obtained marks, and first to final year total marks, which is there in your mark sheet, right? So total marks and your marks that you have to insert there. Okay. The next category, the next column where you guys are confused is, have you done undergraduate from participating institute? All right, what is participating institute? The institutes which allow you to do PG here. That means, have you done your BDS from AIMS, PGI, or JIPMER? If yes, you will mark yes. AIMS does not have BDS, so none of you belong to AIMS BDS. PGI Chandigarh does not have BDS, so none of you belong to PGI. JIPMER does not have BDS, so all of you will mark a no here, right? We don't have graduation in the participating institutes in BDS. MBBS is available in the AIMS, PGI, and all. BDS is not available, so all of you will mark a no here. Okay. Experience details. Now, experience details are required for admission in PGI. Those who have done a rural posting or something like that, then you have to put a yes. Otherwise, 99% of us will mark no here. Okay. Only PGI gives a little bit of edge to those who have worked extra, like the rural posting or something like that. So, all those who have done just internship, you will mark a no. All right. So, you will mark no into work experience. See, working in a private clinic does not count as work experience. Please read prospectus of part A and prospectus of PGI Chandigarh part B, right? And then you will get a detail of what work experience is counted and what work experience is not counted. All right. This is something new which was not there till last time. This is the birth certificate. Okay, date of birth certificate. This can be your birth certificate that you get from the municipality. Don't worry if your birth certificate is in any other language. Okay, like my birth certificate is in Gujarati language. It doesn't matter. Whatever language it is, you have to just upload that certificate in a PDF format up to 2 MBs. Okay, if you don't have your MCD birth certificate, you can also put your 10th standard mark sheet. All right, I've already put that list of documents which are allowed in the previous slides. You can also read that in the prospectus. You can, yes, you can put your 10th standard mark sheet, which is the board mark sheet, right? The CBSE or the state board mark sheet. That is also required in PDF format up to 2 MB. So this is something new which was not there till last year. After that, you have to upload your photo, your signature, and your left hand thumbprint. Same that you have used in NEET. Same you can use here. All right. No photo will be clicked. Just upload that photo and things will be over. All right. Now, after you have done everything, after you have submitted the fees, all right. Now, your fees application is also a little difficult because UPI payment is not an option. All right. You can pay with credit card, debit card, and net banking. Right. They always give preference to SBI. But even if you have other bank accounts, you can use either debit card, credit card, or net banking. UPI option is not there, right? So sometimes what happens is the fees is deducted, but the application status still says pending. Don't worry, all right? They will just verify your details and then the application status will be accepted. Like, for example, when we filled the form here at DBMCI, the application status showed pending in spite of the fact that the fees was filled. All right, the fees notification had come on mail. The fees notification came on mail that okay, this is your candidate ID, this is that total amount of 4,000 has been deducted, this is the transaction ID, and you have paid the fees. But still, the application status is showing pending. So don't worry if this is happening. This is happening with everybody. All right. If you're really worried that oh, my payment is deducted, what you can do is you can raise a query. In the same login, you have an option to raise a query. Different kinds of queries are there. If you ask the query through that portal, believe me, all the queries will be answered. Like, for example, just for a trial, we have raised a payment query and I have written that payment is deducted, but application is still pending. Now, within 24 or 48 hours, I'm expecting a reply to this query, right? So, just like that, if you have any query in form filling beyond this, you can raise a query. All right. So, I hope things are clear. The form filling is not very difficult. It's a very smooth experience. The user interface of the website, the upgraded website is very good. When you log in, you will also have an option of going to the old website, but I prefer you should not do it. Just use the new website. It is really smooth. The UI is good. Very easily in 15 or 20 minutes, if you have all the documents ready, in 15 or 20 minutes, you will be able to fill the form. All right. Try and do it on a weekday, on any odd hours, not in the peak hours. Don't do it on weekends because usually it is very rushy. Most of the interns are doing it on the weekends, right? So all the post interns, you can do it in any weekday. You can do it today, tomorrow, day after, at any time. All right. Still, if you have queries, we have the DBMCI MDS Premier group where you can put your queries and we'll be happy to help you all. All right. All the best, everybody. I hope you can fill the forms nicely now.